If it's Friday, it is time for the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. I'm Steve Casillo, and thank you for being here today. Today, as we do every Friday, is another 10-minute shot. It's another 10-minute nugget of information about your nest egg, your wealth, your money, and how this all plays into your life. And with us in the studio today, Phillip Washington Jr. He is the host of the podcast Wealth Building Made Simple. Say hello to the people.
How's it going, my people?
They're my people.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Our people.
It's and I was listening to your podcast earlier today, and I wanted to tie this into this 10-minute nugget of information, because really today, and as you suggested to your listeners and your followers, that if there is a list of podcasts that you should bookmark for inspiration, today was one of those podcasts. And I agree with this. You did an analogy of how the movie Encanto, the Pixar Disney movie, how that plays into investing. And I'd love for you to tell that story here to our followers.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a movie that I reluctantly watched once, and since then I've watched 2 more times with my 6-year-old, and we're reading the story. But one of the many lessons built into the story is the lesson of like the illusion of security, meaning the abuela, who lost the love of her life, her husband, and her reaction to that was fear that took over, and the fear allowed her to, or caused her to, see her security in these magical powers that were given to her family. And so once those magical powers begin to go away, right, because everything that's a lie or not real or an illusion eventually loses its form or power.
Right.
She began to panic and have fear again, but it took a fresh perspective or an open mind through her granddaughter, Mirabelle, to find that, oh no, the power actually was not in the illusion or the magical gifts. The power was in the love, right? And so when spoiler alert, when the house fell down, they rebuilt the house not with the powers like they did before. They rebuilt the house through love of the family working together with the town, all those people. And so that's a great lesson, right? The security was in the love. She had everything that she needed and wanted all along, but she was looking at the power in the wrong source.
And so, Phillip, out there in listenership land, people are going, how the hell does this all relate to financial advice, building wealth? And you laid it out there perfectly.
Yeah. So what I looked up scientifically, like, what do scientists believe creates or the reason the mind falls for an illusion. And it's the brain looking for shortcuts, right? Whenever the brain's tired, the brain looks for shortcuts. And so, and I didn't put this in my podcast, so I'm glad we're talking about it. But why does the brain get tired? Well, the brain gets tired when its energy is being subtracted from, right? Well, what subtracts from energy? Negative energy literally is subtraction, right? So meaning when we think thoughts of fear, thoughts of negativity, right? And this is scientific. When you look at, most of us are tired, not from like what we're doing, it's from the thoughts that are in the background of our head, draining our energy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because whenever you're doing something that you love, I mean, Steve, how many times have you been like jamming out, doing music you love, and you look up and you're going, man, it's been like 10 hours, and you don't feel tired.
Right. The creative side of your brain that when or I could be sitting at a computer doing graphic arts and all of a sudden, yeah, it's 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah. And so that is the, when the mind is drained or thinking in negativity, then you become susceptible, if that's the right word, to illusions, or you seek shortcuts. And so in investing, that plays out in, you think, oh, the market's going crazy right now. Maybe I should go to cash because cash is secure, right? Cash is not security. Cash is terrible investment long term to own. And most people are like, oh yeah, it is, but right now I'm vibrating in fear, and it makes me feel secure right now. Yeah, but that's an illusion. You
Right.
know?
Okay. And then you talked about on your podcast this morning and how they correlate with each other: greed and fear. Greed playing into, you know what, I'm going to go to the horse race track today, or I'm going to go to Las Vegas, and I'm going to come home with I'm going to drop Caesar's Palace to its knees. Is greed.
Yep. And so greed is like worry, right? Both are derivatives of fear, right? I call them like fear in action. And greed is, hey, I don't like my present financial condition. I experience pain either from watching somebody else win some money in Vegas and I didn't win some money, right? So their quote unquote life got better changed, and so or they go buy some Dogecoin, and they don't know what they're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing, but they bought it, and so my natural thought is maybe if I buy it, I hope that it'll go up, and I'll get rich quick and get myself out of this financial position that I'm in, that I'm afraid of, will always be here forever, right? And so, greed is an expression of fear. When you break it down, it's not truth, right? You like when I break it down, people are like, yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna get rich buying this lotto ticket, But when they're in fear, they literally can't hear me, right? And their brain is attracting these shortcuts or these illusions out of their current circumstance.
And of course, the odds of winning the lotto are billions to one. So
Yep.
So what I'm what I'm gathering here, stay with it in the long run. Stay with your financial plan. I mean, help.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
You were spot on because so one of the solutions I talked about on my podcast to overcoming these emotions or not allowing the brain to be succumbed to shortcuts is to stand on truth, right? Standing on truth allows you to vibrate in love, peace, joy, abundance, all things good, right? But we'll stick with abundance because that's what builds wealth, right? It allows you to say, all right, let me attract abundance, right? And the best way to do that, to tune your mind to truth, is like, go read about Warren Buffett and go read about Ray Dalio. Go read about all these successful investors that were good, that have money, and then you'll find the truth is they all had faith in the future. They all had discipline. And they were all patient. None of them believed in short-term trading. None of them bought lotto tickets. They all were long-term thinkers, right? And then also the reason why we talked about the playlist is, like, to me daily, like since my clients really pay me for my energy always has to be right for them to not have negative thoughts that cause them to do bad things. I always talk about, like, when you're a leader, right? So as a wealth manager, people are paying me to lead them down towards the goals and objectives they told me are important, right? So as a leader, like with my kids, like, my energy has to be right in order for my kids to be right. Like, what's most important is not telling my kids what to do, right? It's being,
Exactly. Having them watch your actions
and feel my energy.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying that to say, I daily, have a practice of waking up, getting my mind right, yoga, meditation, right? If I feel off mentally, like if I watch some news story, or like what's super negative is listening to these bond market experts, right? They're so negative. Or if I watch CNBC, I have to counterbalance that because I only watch and listen to it so I can understand what fears and things might be attacking the world. And then I have to go meditate and reaffirm, like, truth, right? So I have to listen to things to keep my mind with abundant thoughts. Because if I don't, from my experience, that stuff affects my clients. And then they call me and email me with, oh, I'm afraid of this. And I'm like, dang, I infected them from my thoughts, right? Because I got 0 calls yesterday.
I was just going to say, yesterday was one of the worst days on Wall Street since 2008. And you had how many calls from worried customers?
0 calls or emails.
Because
my energy was right. I intentionally maintain my energy all day the right way so that my clients would not be infected by that negative energy.
if any of my followers, any of your potential followers would like to reach out to you and get a little more vibe out of you, a little more energy, how can they reach out to Phillip Washington Jr.?
The best way is my website, stonehillwealthmanagement.com. I have my podcast links there on every major platform, my contact information, my email address, phone number, all that kind of stuff. You can sign up for my newsletter there as well. But stonehillwealthmanagement.com. And also for daily thoughts and inspiration, follow my Instagram page, Ask Phillip. Handle Ask Phillip. By the way, for those who don't know, like everybody's hanging out on Instagram. Like nobody's on Facebook anymore. I know some people are on Facebook anymore, but most people that are cool are hanging out on Instagram. So if you want to be cool, come hang out over there, and then you'll be like, oh wait, this is where the party's been.
Instagram.
All
right. This has been the About Mansfield Consumer Advice. You kind of got me a little lost there. It's the Consumer Advice Series. We will do this again next Friday, as we do this every Friday right here on Facebook.
Oh
Yes.
man, that's what got you lost.
We may have to switch this over to Instagram.
Yeah, that's where everybody's hanging out. That's where the cool kids are.
That's where the cool kids are. All right, Phillip, we'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week.